Welcome to my studio. I'm Wendy O'Brien. Thanks for dropping by. Today, I'm going to show you how to store your pastel drawings using a Glassine pouch. So let's get started. The supplies you will need are Glassine paper, ruler, scissors, box cutter or craft knife, tape, artwork, cutting mat, and a plastic 90-degree triangle, which is optional. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make two versions of the Glassine pouch. I prefer the first one I'm going to show you, and we'll get into that in a moment. But the second one works fine, and as with most things art, it comes down to personal preference. First thing you want to do is measure your artwork. If you're going to trim your artwork, be sure to do so beforehand. Once you get the measurement, if it's not mounted, I like to add a 1/4 inch to the side measurement. This will allow room for your artwork to slide in and out without getting caught on the sides, but still snug enough not to move around too much. I also like to add 3 inches to the top to give me enough extra for a flap to hold my artwork nicely within the pouch. Next, cut the glassine to the appropriate size using the ruler and a box cutter or craft knife. In this video, I am doing multiple art pieces, and I like to finish each step for all my drawings before moving on to the next one. Now lay out your glassine and then lay your artwork on top, being careful not to touch the art or cause any smudging. I carefully fold the glassine over, leaving a slight overhang on the front. This overhang will allow for easy insertion and removal without worry of touching your artwork. I then carefully remove the artwork and make a nice crease in the glassine at the fold. I then use my triangle to cut the corner off the flap on both the left and right sides. This gives a nice finished appearance and will keep the corners from getting caught or bending upwards. I then fold the flap over and crease it. Once creased, I place a piece of tape horizontally on the pouch just under the flap, but jutting out from underneath it. The reason for this is to secure the top flap with another piece of tape to lift up the flap easily with the tab I make for the flap. This will make more sense once you see it in action. Next, I use tape to secure the sides. I'm using painter's tape, but you could also use washi tape for a more decorative appearance. When applying the tape, it is important not to put it past the top edge. I use the scissors to cut my tape to ensure a nice straight edge. I place on one side, then flip the pouch over and fold in half to secure the other side. You should try to get it as close to halfway on the tape as possible, especially if it's going to be given to a client. This gives you the same amount of tape on each side and a professional appearance. I repeat the same thing on the opposite side of the pouch. Once the two sides are secure, keeping the artwork facing me and the flap to the back, I carefully slide my artwork in the pouch, fold over the flap, and make a tab. To make the tab, cut a piece of tape long enough to fold over one end and still have some adhesive sticking out. Place the adhesive on the flap and stick it to the tape placed on the pouch in an earlier step. This will make it easy to lift off the flap without it sticking to the glassine and possibly ripping a hole in the pouch or smudging the artwork trying to remove it. This pouch creates a completely secure way to store your art that won't smudge or take up additional room. I then place mine in an archival storage box, laying on top of one another without the worry of them getting damaged in any way. As a side note, I like to make these bags to present my pieces to my clients. It prevents smudging and gives them a safe way to store and transport the artwork until they get it framed. I also use them to take pieces to my store to purchase my mat and frame for pieces that I will be framing. Now, this is my preferred method for the pouches. An alternative is to leave the flap off and have the top open as demonstrated here. My personal preference is with the flap so the artwork is completely secure without worry of it sliding out of the pouch. It really is personal preference as to which you choose. If you do choose this method, instead of adding 3 inches to the top, add a 1/2 inch instead. This will give you enough room to slide your art in and out and have a little bit left at the top. Bonus tip, while you can make these using various pieces of glassine as I did on the open top pouch, I recommend using only one piece and folding it. If you have the tape on the bottom of the pouch, there is a slight chance that the edge of your artwork may get stuck where the tape comes together. I wonder how I came to this conclusion. So, if at all possible, keep the tape on the sides only. If you have your piece mounted, be sure to add enough to your initial measurements to account for the thickness of the mount. Using these pouches is a great way to store all of your work completed on paper substrates when you don't frame them or you need to transport them wherever they need to go. If you found this video useful, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and a share is always appreciated. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future tutorials like this one. Until next time, keep on arting. Bye!